The second ward was the area where many Mexican Americans settled when arriving in Houston.
I grew up in what's called Second Ward. It was one of the original neighborhoods of the city of Houston. In fact, it was one of the first neighborhoods to be settled by people that came to Houston from other parts of the world. By the time, the early 30s, during the Depression, the part of Second Ward closest to downtown was already Mexican American.
The second ward was a working-class neighborhood which attracted industry and manufacturing. The Hughes Tool Company was one of Houston's major employers for decades. It also enabled Howard Hughes Jr. to become one of the wealthiest men in the world.
Howard Hughes Sr. founded the Hughes Tool Company in the early 1900s, at the beginning of the 20th century, in response to the spindle-top oil boom. Initially, he hoped to take advantage of drilling and being a driller, but as it turned out, once he bought the rights to a drilling bit from a oil field roughneck, he was able to patent that bit, and eventually it became the product that made him a billionaire, and his son a billionaire.
Old-line Houston companies such as Hughes Tool were operated like family-run businesses.
For people that were employed at the Hughes Tool Company, they worked for a family, even when the plants became large. And it was a significant marker for these working-class people to be working for a reputable firm such as these.
Author and historian Michael Botson used the extensive collections of the Houston Metropolitan Research Center to study the growth of labor unions in Houston in the first half of the 20th century. He used this information in a book he was writing.
And the book chronicles the intersection of the labor and civil rights movement here in Houston in the 20th century. The Hughes Tool photo collection contained thousands of photos that I could peruse, but also as well there were manuscript items in there that gave me access to employees who were interviewed while they were working at the Hughes Tool Company, and these gave me a feel of what it was like to work there.
Botson found relevant materials with the details about Houston's early labor organizations.
I found that the same kind of dynamics and forces that prompted this vigorous labor movement in the Midwest and the industrialized area of the country was actually taking place here in Houston at the same time in the 1930s and 40s. The notes and the documents I found here at Houston Metropolitan Research Center validated my supposition that black workers looked at these organizations as racist in nature, but still an organization which they could work within and perhaps reform from within and then serve their needs and improve their situation, which is actually how it turned out. But what it took was a vigorous push on the black workers' part to challenge the white power structure, not only in their unions, which was terribly racist, but also in management as well. So they really had two battles to wage, one within the organization that was designed to protect them, and then secondly, they had a battle to wage against management, which was steeped in Houston's Jim Crow tradition. And what HMRC provides is the resources and the records that show how we built the foundation for Houston and has allowed it to grow and morph into the city that it is.